My name's Agnelli. I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for about 15 years. I started Jiu-Jitsu as an older guy in my mid-30s. It's kind of a late time to start. Interesting part of it was that I was a Secret Service agent. I was assigned to our training academy in Maryland, and lo and behold, 2 doors down from me, another instructor was a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Helsing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which was kind of cool. At that point, we're here in the early 2000s. I didn't realize how beneficial, how important how good that was, right? People were like, "Oh, you got a Gracie black belt there? That's pretty cool." I'm like, "What? Yeah, what does that mean?" It was amazing. I started training with him, and we all started training. It was a bunch of us. If we had 5 minutes, we'd go down to the mat room and we'd train. If we had an hour, we'd train. We had several nights a week where we trained formally. I stunk, man. The only thing I had going for me is I was strong, but you know how they say don't be that guy? I was that guy. I was that one that always 100%. Guys were like, I don't want to roll with him. You know what I mean? He's like a bull in a china cabinet. That was that thing, and I'd literally spend 3 days after each session sore. Not, using so much energy, just trying so hard and not getting any better. But I loved it, man. I loved the physicality of it. I loved everything about it. As a kid, I grew up in a small town outside Buffalo, New York. My father was a World War II vet, police chief, tough guy. I lost my father when I was young. I was 19, but for those 19 years, it taught me a lot of cool life lessons, right? I learned them early on. He used to say, hey, you're not special. Just know that. You're not special. There are going to always be people that are bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you, have more money than you. The only thing that you have control over is how hard you're willing to work every day and how passionate you are about that. You can control that. So, he used to say, hey, listen, the key to life or be good. Be a good person. Be good to people. Treat the janitor the same way you treat the principal every day. And be the most mentally tough person in any room you walk into. And he also taught me at an early age that fitness was important. He said, being fit is something you have control over. Being fit can save the day in many ways, right? It just makes you able to get through life a lot easier. So from the time I was a little kid, 5, 6, 7, doing push-ups and all that kind of stuff, it was important to me to be more fit than the next guy. Didn't know how it would help me later in life, but it was just one of those things where I kind of grew up doing that. I started organized football when I was 6. I was supposed to be 8, so he lied my age for 2 years. As a little kid, I took my beatings. It was amazing. But I think it makes you stronger, psychologically stronger. It makes you able to get through those hardships. My father was not afraid to let me fail. Parents today, I think, they don't let their children fail. There's a lot to be learned from failure. Picking yourself back up, dusting yourself off, wiping the blood off your face and going back out there and doing it again. Those are important life lessons. Benefiting me as I went through high school and played football, and eventually I ended up getting a scholarship to play Division I football in college. I think what I loved most about it was the camaraderie. When you looked in the huddle next to you, the people, those were your brothers. It didn't matter, race didn't matter, religion didn't matter, sexual orientation didn't matter. None of that mattered. All that mattered was that person that was standing next to me in the huddle was there to protect me and help me. It was a good lesson for me. It's like I don't even remember the games that much, but what I do remember are the friendships that I made and the locker room and the huddle and all that kind of stuff. And to date, I still have a lot of those great friendships, which led me to my next career. One of the guys that I played football with in college ended up becoming a Secret Service agent. Called me one day and said, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And after a long and arduous interview process, which probably took almost 2 years, I ended up getting the job. I started my career in the New York office. Investigations, we were founded on counterfeit investigations. Did a lot of that, did a lot of protective work for foreign heads of state, foreign leaders, the president, whoever. And then I was selected to go to the president's detail, so the Presidential Protective Division in Washington, D.C. So went down there in the mid-90s. I got there during the Clinton administration and was assigned to Bill Clinton in his detail for every day. You report to the White House, and that's what you do. You travel with them, you go everywhere with them. As President Bush transitioned into office in 2000, I stayed on the presidential detail. I was there through a lot of interesting times, but 9/11 being one of the most sort of influential times and one of the most impactful on me as a person, to have to be there through that. And I was at the White House that day. Crazy, crazy times. The world changed forever. I also had the opportunity to be selected and be on the President's Counter-Assault Team, which is a special operations group that follows the President everywhere. Awesome training, great guys, get to train with all the best select military units around the world. That that period of time was one of the greatest and most fun experiences for me in the entire Secret Service. It got me back into that brotherhood that I had been missing for a while, so it was very, very cool. And then I was able to keep that for 25 years, you know, throughout my Secret Service career. That's a very important piece, and those friendships that I've made through that career with so many great people, you know, I cherish that. There's some very, very impressive people. In a career of 25 years, you touch a lot of milestones, right? You hit a lot of these milestones. And for me, all the accolades and the gifts and the trophies and all that stuff, for me it doesn't really, you know, none of that is all that important. I think the most important thing for me was the meaningful friendships that I earned, and the respect that I got from people that I really cared about. Respect is everything, right? You can't buy it. There's no amount of money on the planet that can buy you respect, right? To get it and to give it is very important. For me, nothing's better than putting it out there every day and to work your tail off and to work at something super, super hard and have somebody else doing the same thing, and understanding the value of what you did was important. To give you that amount of respect, to say, hey man, that was a great job on that. That in itself is worth more than money to me. More important than anything. Respect is everything. To get the respect of like-minded people, I think is one of the keys to life for me. You know, in Secret Service, we have these little rooms we call I Love Me rooms, where you have all your stuff, but I don't let anybody. I have so much stuff, man. Like, if you look around, this is just trinkets that I've sort of acquired through the years. If you come over here, you can see some pictures of, you know, that was when I first got to the presidential detail with Bill Clinton. This, as you can see, was the day after 9/11. I used to run with the president every day, which is kind of cool. Presidential inaugural parade. All these diplomatic passports. If I look through here, I just look at some of the places that I visited. You know, there's India. Here's one for Korea, Russia, Nether Russia, Turkey, Bangladesh. You know, lots of Christmas parties, and you know, obviously here's a cool Christmas party I got to spend at the White House with President Bush's wife, and my kids got to go, which was just an awesome kind of family event. You know, getting married and having a family, my gosh, that changes everything, right? And for the better. And the day that you hold that baby and it looks back in your eyes, it changes everything. You know, you've just become selfless. You couldn't even measure the amount of love that I have for my family. I mean, it's just, like I said, without them, I'd have no real purpose. It's no longer about me. Nothing's about me. It's all about them. My children, you know, I'd die for my kids, right? I'd gladly give my life for theirs. And I tell people like, well, how do you know that? Well, because I couldn't live without them. Every day, it's about them. Having children changes everything. It changes everything. Life's all about minutes, right? It's about, we're all chasing minutes. It's like when I try to go to the train, catch the train to go to work. If I miss the 6:56, I'm waiting until 7:15 to catch the train, you know? It's one of those things, we're all chasing minutes, and minutes are important. So you gotta make them all count. But when I had my children, things became infinitely more difficult with work and how, you know, trying to balance your schedule and trying to make sure that you could fit everything in, and, you know, everything became very, very important. Every minute counts, you know, so I tried to take full advantage of that. And if we waste those minutes in general in life, we're never getting them back, right? I think you think about, right? Earth's a billion years old, however old, right? You're here luckily if you get to spend 80 on this planet, if you're lucky. And if that's the case, and if life was a golf course, I'm on the back 9 right now. So I understand that every minute counts, and if I waste any, they're gone. I tell people all the time, people are like, you know, how do you, you know, I can't do this. I can't start jiu-jitsu. Life's too busy. I got too much going on. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't train? I tell them, I said, listen, I got 3 kids, I got 3 dogs, a hectic life, and a very stressful job. You can find time. You can definitely find time. You know, the thing about jiu-jitsu is you gain so much confidence from doing it. The respect that goes back and forth. I mean, you and I will roll for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you know, literally fight each other, trying to like break each other's limbs off or choke each other unconscious. And when it's all said and done, we shake each other's hands and we give each other a big hug and tell each other how much we love each other. That is very cool. Something you don't find anywhere. The best moments I have were after a tough training session, where I'm just sitting on the side of the mat, just hanging out, dripping in sweat with my buddies, my guys that I just rolled around with. And that feeling of being totally exhausted, but at the same time, you know you've earned their respect. It's just such a great feeling that that's why I keep coming back. That's why I keep coming back. I have this obsessive personality where everything that I do, I have to like dedicate 100% to, 100%. And I'm a big believer in that you owe that to people, right? That whatever you're doing at that particular time, you need to shut out everything else, and that needs to be the most important thing in the world to you. When it comes to teaching, it's like I don't think people understand the importance of teaching, right? Without teachers, nothing in the world exists, right? Everything that you see, everything that's been built, everything that's been, taught or made, right? Somebody showed somebody how to do that. And if people don't do that, if you don't pass on knowledge, that's our duty. Is to pass on knowledge, right? That's what makes this place, that's what makes the world work. It's important to pass on what you have. That's your legacy. You owe your students your best effort every day. So when I go to class, I prepare like I'm giving congressional testimony up on the Hill. At first it was a little difficult, for my family to understand my obsession. And then I think they understood how important it was to me and accepted that. And some people go to the bar at night to drink. I go to jiu-jitsu class. I think it's just what I love to do. If I hadn't done it, I don't know where I'd be right now. I think it's made me a better leader. It's made me a better father. It's made me a better teacher. Jiu-jitsu has taught me, more importantly, patience. All those things mushed into once, being a father with kids and jiu-jitsu, the patience and confidence to attack life the way you want to attack it, and understanding that jiu-jitsu is a lot like life. You have good days and you have bad days. You have to persevere. Every day is a struggle, but at the end of the day, the confidence that you gain to go through your daily life, it's something, unless you do it, you won't really understand that. The thing I love the most about it, about teaching and about the sport, is that there is no social structure. It doesn't matter who you are. You get on the mat. You can be a billion-dollar bond trader on Wall Street, or you can be a guy that digs ditches down the street. When you get on the mat, none of that matters. People understand that we're all the same. Race, religion, creed, color, sexual orientation, none of that matters. It's just like none of that matters on the mat. That amount of respect that we give one another is super important. And I try to make sure that I exude that kind of sort of personality and a learning sort of personality where we all can get together and respect one another and learn what I consider the coolest sports on the planet. Every day I learn that I learn what I don't know. And I think that's important too, to understand that there's just so much you can learn. That thirst for knowledge, every day I'm just trying my best to learn and to be a better instructor, to have knowledge that I can pass on. And I make sure that I teach and I go through life with that certain sense of urgency. Never stagnant, always moving forward. My coach in college used to say, Carl, you either get better or you get worse. You never say the same. So I always try to get better. I love watching my students progress. I love seeing them gain confidence. Their progression is so much more rewarding than mine, way more than me getting a stripe on my belt or getting a new belt, because I've had the opportunity to change somebody's life forever. No one really knows what their life's purpose is, but if I can make one person breathe better, breathe easier, had a better life because I existed, that's important. So you never know what type of impression you're going to have on somebody. You never do, right? It could be someone you never even met. Somebody could watch a video and say, wow, that inspired me, or that was thought-provoking. Or somebody might be at your class one time that was there visiting from another state, and you taught them something, or you gave them some, maybe it wasn't even jiu-jitsu, maybe it was just some whip on life, just some comment you made. I want somebody to look at me as somebody that legitimately cares. When they look at me, they said, Carl he legitimately cares about me. He legitimately cares about my issues, my problems. He legitimately wants to make me a better human being, whether it be through jiu-jitsu or whether it be from one-to-one talks about things that can make his life better, advice, things of that nature. You want to be remembered some way by people that are important to you. You hope that people remember that you are a good person.